I shouldn't do math on the air, 5.5 hours away from UNLV tonight. Dutch, good to talk to you.
Good to be back, Darren.
How's Vegas?
It's good. Marty was on her flight, but I haven't seen her since, so I don't know what she's up to.
Do you have any idea the risk that you guys took having Marty Caswell on your flight? Do you have any idea of her travel woes?
We were a little concerned. We hear that she's just a sure bet for a delay, but we were on time, and so far so good.
Frankly, I'm shocked that you guys made it for tip-off. That's how bad her travel has been.
Well, maybe she was lucky to be on our flight because we're on a little roll right now.
Yeah, I would say you guys are on a little bit of a roll. You know, Dutch, we played this soundbite. You were on the postgame show with Ted Leitner last night, and I don't know what the setup was, but we just used the soundbite in your answer where you said so much for the letdown. Where were you picking up talk about a letdown here, a potential letdown last night?
I think that would be what most people would think after such an emotional win over New Mexico, such a great comeback, and to get a piece of the title, that the natural thing would be thinking that the Aztecs might have a little letdown. But my goodness, we might have played one of our best games of the season, which is a good thing to do in March.
You know, it's funny that you say that because, I brought that up and I heard it on the telecast yesterday, and I noticed that you brought it up in the post game. And, I think that a lot of times people who follow sports, you're trained to try to search out those sort of letdown moments where they might occur or the look aheads, right? Like all those things that coaches probably stay up late night worrying about. But for whatever reason with your team, whether it's been Kansas or, the wins, the highs, the losses, it doesn't seem like anything's had any effect to this team whatsoever. I don't know if that's the way it feels from the inside, but I got to give a ton of credit to the players here, Coach, because it doesn't seem like any of that stuff has bothered them when it looked like it might have.
Absolutely. It's a really even-keeled team. There's no emotional highs or lows. When we win a big game, they're just back to work the next day, just like we would be after a loss. And I think Coach Fisher set the tone for the tournament. He said, we're going here to win 3. We want to be selfish. We want to get the second title. So he set the tone. The players have followed through up to this point, and we will be challenged tonight, obviously, playing Vegas on their home floor, but I think we'll be up for the challenge.
Just generally speaking, as a coach, is there anything that you can do? I mean, sometimes you're just dealing with 19 and 20-year-olds, and it happens. But is there anything over the years of coaching that you could do to try to prevent those sort of letdown moments or those look-ahead moments?
I think Coach does such a great job with the messages he delivers in the locker room before the game. He talked a little bit about, hey, I know this is a noon start, but a week from now in the NCAA tournament, we might get a noon start. We might get a noon start in another bracket where it will be a big early start. So he tries to motivate him in that regard. Hey, can you play at this time of the day? And he does such a great job of having the team think about things other than just the immediacy of the game. He delivers a bigger message, and the team always seems to receive it well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the important part, right? I mean, you guys have probably been delivering great messages to your teams for decades, yet if the team doesn't receive it, it doesn't receive it. So who is it? Does it start with Xavier? Is he the guy that sets the tone for the players?
Well, it's usually the seniors,
yeah.
And we have 2 of good ones in Josh and Xavier, and then we have J.J. O'Brien and Dwayne Polee, who even though our juniors are in their 4th year. So, we've got a lot of mature kids on the team that have been through the battles and kind of know what's required, and that's a real comfort to a coach having guys that have been there before.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher. He's joining us live from Vegas. This is San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090, San Diego State and UNLV coming up at 6 o'clock right here on the radio station, pregame at 5:30. Yesterday, it's been pointed out, I don't know how much college basketball you're watching, Dutch, but it's been pointed out that the top seeds in a lot of different conference tournaments have already gone down. Is that something you have to point out to your team or something that you've noticed yourself?
It's every game is an adventure in college basketball. I mean, like they say any given night, and it's true, any given night you can be upset if you're not playing at your best. And so I think the only benefit we have from some of those upsets is maybe you hope you can climb to a higher seed if we continue to perform to the level we're performing. It's all about seeding and matchups, and so hopefully we can get the highest seed possible by playing well and stay west. We'd love to stay west. 3 of the last 4 years, they've sent us 3 time zones away. Other than the time where we were a 2 seed, they've sent us to Providence, to Philadelphia, and to Columbus. So we'd like to stay a little closer to home, somewhere in the time zone, and somewhere if we play well, we can get to Anaheim in a couple of weeks.
And you think that the next 2 games have that kind of impact on where you guys might end up?
I think if we win the conference tournament, we'll get a really, really, really good seed. I think if we happen to lose one of the next 2, or I shouldn't say lose our next game, whatever one that might come, it won't affect us greatly. I think there's more room to move upward than there is down right now.
Coach, take us back. It's the first time we had a chance to chat since you guys played against New Mexico on Saturday night. And I know that you've already played a game and you're looking forward here, so I won't dwell on it for too long. But just, that game itself, you guys have been here for a long time. I mean, have you ever been a part of something like that?
No. I mean, anybody that's been an Aztec fan or a basketball fan that was there will say it was one of the greatest comebacks they've ever had the privilege of sitting through. And I would say the same as a coach. It's one of the greatest comebacks I've had an opportunity to be on the bench for. And it was a perfect storm, Darren. You know, everything had to go right in that 11 minutes, and it seemed everything did go right. And the move to the zone, the timely shots, the crowd into the game, it was like everything was in harmony that last 11 minutes, and we got a win. And so I'm sure if you're New Mexico, you think it couldn't have been any worse. So it'll be interesting to see if we can both find a way to get through our semifinal games, what that third matchup will be for the season.
Seth Davis from CBS Sports had an interesting stat that night right after the game. He said that you guys had played zone on 2.6% of your defensive possessions this year. I don't know that you keep those kind of stats here or if you've heard of that stat. Does that sound about right, that the Aztecs during game action have played zone 2.6% of the time?
I think we played 17 possessions all season and played 19 in that game. I think it was something like that. So right time, right place. I mean, we don't work on it every day, but we'll spend 5 minutes on it here and there. And it's to New Mexico's defense. I mean, they hadn't seen it. We'd only done it most of the time when we got behind against Wyoming. We used it and almost got us back in the game. So we had some history of using it when we fell behind because it's a defense that we can extend to the full court and maybe turn up the heat on those guys in the full court. And it was timely and it was well played, especially that group that we rode to the end. I remember Dwayne Poley was pulling his shirt. He wanted to come out, and we had just tied the game, and we took a timeout. And Xavier looked at the bench. He was mad. He's like, "We have momentum. Why are we taking timeout?" And we just said, we got to give DP a rest. We don't want to take him out of the game. That's how good he was up at the top of that 1-3-1. So everything fell into place, and like I said, it was a great win. And then to follow it up with one of our better offensive performances of the year yesterday. I mean, we had 19 assists, which I guess is our high for the year against Division I opponents. We might have had more against a lower opponent that we had earlier in the year, but 19 assists. So we're pretty confident going into today's game. We know it's going to be a tough game on Vegas's home floor.
Absolutely, and you may have heard it during the update there that Roscoe Smith is going to be playing. You know, Vegas thinks it's a good team. I'm sure Vegas went into the season thinking it was a tournament team, yet it finds itself in a situation now where its only chance of getting in, and I think you would agree with this, and I think they would agree, their only chance is to beat you guys tonight and beat whoever it is that they're going to face tomorrow. So there is no doubt. I know it's cliche, you get everybody's best effort and all that sort of stuff, but if Vegas thinks it's a good team, this is the only opportunity it has now to show for the next couple of nights.
Absolutely. If they want to go to the tournament, they know what's in front of them. They have to win 2 games. And what better place for them to try to do it than their home floor. Now, they've struggled at home this year, but they're at full strength, like you said, Darren, with Roscoe Smith back. Bryce Jones served a 1-game suspension. He played really well yesterday. And so the Rebels are feeling good about themselves. But we know we've played well here this year. We've played well here in the past, and we're excited for the opportunity to try to knock them off in their building.
Were you surprised at how the game went for you guys yesterday? I mean, 73-39, it's not like anybody ever draws that up on the board.
Yeah, we thought it would be obviously a game that would go down to the last 5 minutes like most of them have this year. And obviously we got ahead, we built the lead, and then we were just showed great patience on offense and got good shots every time down. And then defensively, we just would not give them a 3-point shot. And that's what they do better than anybody in our conference. They shoot the 3, but Medlin and Butterfield could not get a 3 up against us, and that was in large part to really good Aztec defense.
39 points. What did you guys talk about at the half at 36-15?
Hey, just keep it going. What are you going to say? We keep it going, be patient on offense. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them threes. And that kind of happened. So it was, like I said, and the nice thing too, Darren, is we got to play a lot of people, so we got to rest legs. So we played everybody, the starters, just enough where they got in a rhythm. They felt good about the way they were playing. And then we went to the bench for most of the second half So we should be on fresh legs. We shouldn't be fatigued from our first game yesterday.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you really can't draw it up any better than that. I'm sure you guys now. Did you guys substitute earlier than you would have under normal circumstances because you have to play tonight and potentially again tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We rested guys down the stretch because we knew we had to play tonight and potentially tomorrow. So we tried to get X out. We tried to get all the starters out, and limit their minutes, and then obviously it's great when you have the bench like we have. Everybody we put in the game contributed and can contribute if needed. So that's the luxury of having a deep bench through. Even though you go to the bench early, you really don't lose a whole lot with our team.
Well, anything designed here for the rest of the day? What do you do between now and tip-off?
We're going to meet as a staff at 1 o'clock and look over our offense against Vegas from the first two games. At 1:30, we're going to walk through with the team down in the ballroom, a couple of things, and watch some tape, and then pregame meal and get ready to play.
And that's that. No room for the slots.
No room for the slots, no.
I mean, you guys go to some places, around the Mountain West that aren't exactly Las Vegas. Do you have to keep tabs on kids here when you're in a city like that?
In the past, there might be teams you'd say we have to watch this guy, that guy, but this is a pretty good group. I think they're all in bed. They're following curfews. They're eating good. They're getting their rest because they know that the season is at the end. I mean, if we lose here, we're done. If we lose in the NCAA right away, we're done. So it's one and done from now on. So we're trying to stay focused. The kids are focused. That's why we're good. There's a coach-driven team and a player-driven team, and the best teams are player-driven teams. So that's what we're trying to preach to our club, be a player-driven team. You guys set the tone with the way you do things, and we'll all be successful.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight. Good luck tomorrow. Sounds like it's going to be, regardless of what happens here for the next couple nights, it's going to be a great environment at Viejas. The doors are opening at 2 o'clock for Selection Sunday. It's always a terrific time of year if you're a college basketball fan. Thank you so much, and good luck, Dutch. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you. That's Brian Dutcher, the AHC and the HCIW.